Hey guys, and welcome back to Studio One with me, Gregor. Lately, I've seen the topic of mid-side mixing and mastering come up in the comment section time and time again. But what actually is mid-side processing, and how is it different to conventional left-right stereo processing? And is this actually relevant for the average musician out there? Well, we want to look at all of these questions today, so let's get started. What is mid-side and why should you care? That's kind of my question for today. To put it simply, mid-side processing is a specific stereo mixing technique that's different to left-right mixing and very powerful and flexible. When we think of stereo processing, that typically consists of a left and a right channel, right? But mid-side processing splits that same information in a different way. Instead of separating the audio into a left and right channel like in stereo, it separates your audio into the mids and the sides. So what does that mean? Well, the mids means you take the left channel and the right channel and you basically sum that together into just one channel, which makes it mono again. Because stereo relies on a difference between the left and the right channel, you take that away by putting them into the same channel. So that effectively means that the mids is the mono sum signal. The mono sum is basically when you take the left and the right channel and you just put them into one channel so that the same audio is being output on the left and right. There's no difference between them. The sides, on the other hand, is what you get when you subtract the left from the right channel. So it basically just leaves you with the differences between left and right, which we call the stereo information. So to put it simply, mid-side processing allows you to mix the mono and the stereo content of a song independently from each other. So you could use that to, for example, brighten and boost the reverb, which usually lives in the stereo field on the sides. Or you could also tighten up the bass, which sits in the middle. Let me show you with a concrete example how this could be achieved. Let's say that you have a track that feels a little bit narrow and you want to give it a bit more stereo width. Then you could use a mid-side master equalizer to slightly boost the high frequencies on the master bus, for example, which adds some sparkle to the stereo field. Or if the low end lost clarity from the stereo processing on the sides, then you can cut the lows on the sides, meaning the stereo field, to keep the bass nice, tight and centered. In Studio One, you can turn any plugin into a mid-side processing plugin using the fabulous splitter and a preset that I made available for you via PreSonus Exchange. PreSonus Exchange is kind of like our sharing platform where enthusiastic Studio One Pro users like myself make their effects chains, effect presets, color schemes and so forth available. And you can get there from the Studio One browser by clicking here in the bottom right and then clicking on the Clouds tab. Now, a single double click on PreSonus Exchange is going to lock you in, and then use the search bar. If you don't see that, just click on this magnifying icon right here to look for the mid-side splitter. This should take you straight to my preset. It's labeled mid-side splitter GBY, which is my acronym. And here in the description, it already says that this effects chain preset will turn any of your plugins into true mid-side processing plugins where you can process the mids, the mono information separate from the stereo information is all what that really means. So just install that with a single click. This will trigger the download process right away. And then when you go to the effects tab right here, then under effects chains, when you double click that, you should find your brand new preset. This is going to be a game changer on your master bus, okay? So now I could just drag and drop that right here into my master bus in classic Studio One Pro fashion. And then I get like an MS transform here and a splitter. Double click the splitter to open up the signal flow path. And basically, the way this works is that anything that you put on the left of the splitter will be processing the mono information, and everything that you put here on the right will process the sides or the stereo information. I already have an EQ prepared right here, and I aim to process just the sides, so the stereo information. So naturally, I'm just going to put that to the right of the splitter. The splitter is fully gain compensated, by the way. This is why I've inserted plus 6 dB on every split here, but you can also rebalance that if you want the stereo to be a bit more dominant, just put that right split louder. Or if you want the mono a bit more dominant, then put the left side louder. And for example, what I can do now, if I just quickly hit play here on my song, remember that this EQ is now inserted strictly on the sides. Actually, let me just quickly mute the mids. This sounds a bit weird because it's really just the difference between left and right speaker that we're listening to. This is the mono information, just left and right through one output with no difference. And now I can, for example, boost the highs, but just on the stereo. And while I'm at it, I can also low cut the stereo image because directional frequencies usually really start at 500 Hz and above, so there's no reason not to low cut, and it makes the center, the bass, a bit tighter. Now if I just do a quick A/B here, this is without the MSEQ. Really adds a lot. Hopefully you will agree that this can be an incredibly powerful tool, and remember, you can use this with any of your plugins, so go ahead and download that effects chain today to get your mixes to the next level using Midside. Thank you for watching.